All right. Brandon here with Level Up ICT Con, Collector's Maze, and we are here talking to Miranda O'Hare, Sky herself. How are we doing today?
I'm good. My cat Rainbow is like just down here and
Yep.
she's like trying to get my attention. So she may also be in the interview.
That's all right.
If
So
you
we'll
have
go ahead
some
and intro
questions you
Rainbow.
want to ask Rainbow
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
about her voiceover career, then feel free.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like first things first, how did you get interested into Valorant, or how did you get introduced to it?
Um, so I got introduced to it from an audition for the voiceover. So
Okay.
I don't play video games and I certainly knew nothing about them. I'd done some voiceovers for video games before.
Okay.
And I was used to auditioning for them. So it wasn't called Valorant in my breakdown when I initially got it, but I knew it was for a video game.
Gotcha.
And then I auditioned and yeah, it was later on when I found out that I booked the job that they told me what it was the day that I recorded it wasn't just one day, it was over a period of time. But when I was recording lines, Riot explained to me what the video game was and um, the characters and like how it all worked.
Gotcha.
So that was my introduction to Valorant. And they kept telling me that it was a big game and that it was really popular and stuff. But I didn't really think about it at the time. And they kept saying that people would be interested in me being the voice of the character. And I sort of was like, I don't know if they would be like that to me in that moment. There wasn't like a connection between why someone would care about my voice and a video game. So, yeah, that was kind of like something I didn't fully understand. And then, yeah, over time, and now I'm like, it's such a big part of my life. It's so funny to think back on that, but it just wasn't something I was even thinking about.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, what got you interested in voiceover work? I heard you say you've done other games before.
So the voiceover work that so basically I went in for a meeting with an agency to sign to their print and commercial division.
Okay.
And I was already an actor. In LA, actors generally have representation for different things.
Yeah.
So you'll have a theatrical agency who represent you for film and television work, and you'll have a commercial and a print, which means commercials and perhaps modeling work for print if you do that. And so when I was in this agency, this was like 2018,
Okay.
I was having a meeting and they were like, oh, you have an accent, obviously. Maybe you could audition for the voiceover department. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. And then they were like, okay, we'll send you some scripts. I had done some voiceovers in Australia and I was vaguely familiar with it. Like I'd done a couple of commercials and I'd done an animation series. But it was not like something I had ever thought about. I'd gotten in Australia, I'd actually had a lot of negative feedback about my voice.
Oh, shucks.
So my voice was something as a performer that I'd always thought was like really bad. I just assumed that everyone hated my voice. It was just in my like narrative that my voice was bad, and anyway, I auditioned for the voiceover department and it was really fun. Like I went into a studio and did all these different voices and kind of discovered that I was able to do like crazy, wacky voices and stuff.
Okay.
And I always knew I could do a lot of different accents. So I got to do that. And then, yeah, they signed me and it was very like, I had no idea what I was doing. And I look back at those early auditions and just like cringe. So that was how it happened. It was such a weird, like, like fell into it kind of situation, but also, I'm at the very beginning of my voiceover career.
Yes, you are. Early.
Yeah, I'm very early on. I don't have a lot of credits. Valorant was like a really big credit that it was like one of the first jobs I booked.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so I didn't really know. I'm sorry, I've got something in my eye. It's probably cat fur. I swear it's just like floating around and I'm allergic to my cat, which is insane.
I'm allergic to cats too. I know exactly how you feel.
Yes, and I have to take medication every day, but I'm obsessed
But you love
with
your
her.
cat. Yeah, absolutely.
I love her so much. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I'm at the very beginning of my career and like I actually had a big audition recently and I was preparing for it with a voice coach. And it was just so interesting. Oh, sorry, my phone's calling me.
You're good, no worries.
It was just so interesting. Like I was like with this voice coach, just like thinking like I'm so at hang on, I'm gonna hang up on my friend. I'm just so at the beginning of my career, having a conversation with this coach who's just so much further ahead of me. So sometimes I do have a little bit of, imposter syndrome. It's difficult to talk about it, especially because, especially on like TikTok, people will comment on my TikTok because that's the platform that I have the biggest following. And they'll be like, can I have some tips on voice acting? And I'm just like, I don't want to give people tips. I don't feel I'm qualified at this point to do it. Like, I think I have to keep hopefully working professionally in order to be giving people advice. Like, I don't feel confident in that. I think I'm very good at voiceover, but I still think I'm at the beginning of my career,
Well, that's that humility, and that's a good trait to have, especially this early in the career. But you're in literally one of the biggest games. It's I like to the, like, and it's funny to because I've interviewed other people, and it's always the fall into it type of thing, right place, right time kind of
Yeah.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because it's not just one person, it's a lot of people, and it's really just putting yourself in the right spot and just going for whatever comes your way. Basically, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I think that there's problems with that idea of like luck,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not really luck in the sense of, like, I always say voice acting is just acting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went to acting school. I've been acting since I was a child, and like I have worked, class after class. I go to constantly auditioning and working on this. So it's kind of like luck meets preparation, and
Exactly.
then it's there you go, it's worked out. But it's not like I just was walking down the street and someone was like, hey, what's your voice? You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
not that straightforward. So I think
Yeah.
it's problematic, because I always want people who are looking to get into the entertainment industry, whatever it might be, to realize, like, I think a lot of people have this idea, like, oh, I'm theatrical, or I tell a funny story, or I can talk in a wacky voice. And that's amazing and a great place to start. But I do want to sort of encourage people to take classes and look at it in the way that you would look at any other medium, and realize like it is a technical skill. And, you do need to take classes and study and stuff, because I think sometimes people think they can skip that part. And I get that, because that's the hard part, but it's really necessary.
Absolutely. So you said you've done real acting and voiceover. What have people maybe seen you in live acting?
Oh, um, I don't know. I mean, I was in so many of those those ID shows, like those Deadly Minds,
Really?
Deadly Women, sorry, Dark Minds, like
Okay.
so many of those shows.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they really helped me pay my way through college,
That's
those shows.
awesome.
Yeah, so I did a lot of those. And I recently did a movie that's on Amazon called Coven. It's a horror movie
Okay.
about some witches that are in college.
Okay.
Um I'm in another movie that came out called the Carducci Talent Show, that's on Amazon.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm trying to think of what I've done in my career. I
Just
can't think.
it's still early. You're just still kind of. I get
Yeah,
you.
no, it's not really early. I've been doing it for so long.
I hear you. I hear you.
um, I did, yeah, I've done a lot of stuff in Australia. Like, I did a film called Indigo Lake. I did a lot of television in Australia.
Okay.
Home and Away, Packed to the Rafters, Cops LAC, like so many guest recurring kind of things. Yeah, and then here I've kind of more done film.
Absolutely.
So I did a series in Africa, a British series
Oh wow.
called Killing the Cure.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's definitely been, COVID has definitely slowed a lot of things down.
Absolutely.
So that has been challenging. I'm kind of lucky that I've had the Valorant stuff that's kept me kind of busy, but yeah, it's been a little bit slow for me in terms of acting work since I had a lot of stuff that actually came out in 2020, but I wasn't working at all in 2020. So it's
Gotcha.
kind of slowed, like no one worked, SAG wouldn't let anyone work, fair enough, of course. So yeah, it's kind of slowed things down a little bit.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So is there anything coming up soon, or is it kind of dead right now?
I don't really have any acting stuff coming out right now. I'm currently taking meetings with I just got signed again theatrically
Oh wow,
for film and television and for commercial to a new agency,
good deal.
and I'm taking meetings for voiceovers right now.
Cool.
So
If
I
anybody's
actually
seeing this is looking for a good Australian accent, or even it sounds like you can do other voices too, we got it right here, guys.
yeah. So I'm actually waiting to hear back from an agency at the moment. So I haven't even had voiceover rap, which
Okay.
has been really crazy and probably a part of people kind of being like, you know, wanting advice. And I wasn't even at that time signed. So it was just a funny thing. Hopefully I'll get signed hopefully, honestly, in the next week or two, I'll get signed.
Good deal.
I've been taking meetings about that. And luckily I have, you know, some bigger credits for the voiceover. So it does sort of help me in that way.
For sure.
But in terms of like stuff I have coming out, I'm actually releasing a podcast
Okay.
about gaming, and
Cool.
that's got some people in it that's kind of bigger and stuff. So that's going to be really exciting. And I'm doing a signing, I believe, in June
Okay.
with other Valorant voice actors. We're doing like a autograph signing event kind of thing.
Awesome.
So that's going to be great. So we've got some stuff coming up more in the gaming space.
Gotcha. Where's that going to be? Where's that signing going to be?
It's an online one.
Online. Okay.
I think it's through Streamly, I believe.
Streamly. Okay.
I think I'm gonna do one solo, although I feel like I keep trying to get out of doing it because I'm like
Gotcha. Yeah.
the idea of me, like I did a live event. Have you heard of Cameo?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did a live event through Cameo, and like you have to try to we tell people about it and then you sell the tickets.
Yeah.
And I can't do it. Like it's just it's trying to get telling people to buy tickets. Like I can't do it. I was so uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah.
And my talent manager at Cameo is always trying to push me to do these things, but gives me anxiety. So
Gotcha.
I like to do it more in a group. That to me feels more like there's other people doing it, but when it's just me, I'm like, I don't know. I feel
The
weird
imposter
about
syndrome sets in a little bit
it.
too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I understand. Yeah, absolutely. So kind of talk about the agency thing. Sounds like agency is kind of a way to go as well. Tell me your experience. Has been like, I guess you said you weren't signed when you said you weren't signed when you got Valorant?
I was signed.
You were
Yeah,
signed, okay.
You wouldn't get a job like Valorant without being signed.
Okay.
So at that time I was, and I then left that voiceover agency I was signed with.
Gotcha.
I was signed with a very good agency, but I wanted to go up in the world of agencies. I wanted to move up to like one of the really, really big ones.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's a process, and it's a lot of like, it kind of depends who you are. Sometimes they just listen to your demos and sign you straight away, and sometimes they listen to your demos and give you an opportunity to rainbow.
It's all right. It's all right.
Right. Sometimes they listen to your demos and you still have to audition, and so it's kind of a process of getting a bunch of scripts, doing promos, doing commercials, video games, animations, any other voices that you're able to do, character voices and stuff. So it's really like a lot of it's an overwhelming process, to be totally honest.
Gotcha.
But I really wanted to, you know, make that step so I had access to those kind of jobs, because my goal is obviously to would love to keep doing video game voiceovers, but I really wanted to move into animation voices. So I wanted to get signed to one of the big guns and like hope that I could really sort of like launch myself. It was kind of a risk, honestly. So like we're seeing how it all plays out, but I definitely am a person that like takes risks in, you know, their professional life. So
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't land what you want if you don't keep pushing, and it sounds like you're really wanting to do this full time, so you're making the steps to do so.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. I feel, I mean, I've been fortunate to get some really great meetings and stuff, and we'll see. And yeah, fingers crossed. So then I can start sort of auditioning again, and yeah, hopefully have some news for you guys coming soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
everyone manifest this for me.
So I did see you had a credit for XCOM. Are there any other, like, I'm just curious, any other video games you can say you're in, or just the XCOM?
just the
Okay.
XCOM.
How is
Mhm.
that, by the way? That I seemed like that character was a little interesting. I didn't realize it until I saw it on your IMDb.
Oh yeah, it was really good. I
Yeah.
really liked that experience. I don't really know much about that game.
Yeah.
I love her. Like I love how she looks. I
Yeah.
think she looks great. She's such a cool looking character.
It was Zephyr, right?
Zephyr.
Zephyr. Yep.
She's an alien. She's 7 foot tall. She's like badass.
Yeah.
I remember auditioning for that, and the process being like I actually really did like more of a monologue for the audition.
Okay.
Um, and it felt very much like an acting performance type situation. So I really enjoyed it. Like they were super nice to me. That was the first voiceover job that I had done in America. And yeah, I told them that and they were like, oh wow, okay, cool. Like that's fun. And they were very nice about it and stuff. So yeah. And they explained to me like I had because I wasn't familiar with signing so many NDAs and contracts and stuff. And they started explaining to me how you can't say anything because like, and I was like, but who's gonna like why like what's the big deal, and he kind of, I was so naive about the industry of gaming and how it all works and stuff. And so yeah, no, I really enjoyed
Good.
Zephyr in XCOM, and it was a fun experience.
So, as a voice actor with an accent, because it's your natural accent, can you erase your accent in when you're doing voiceovers? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
Can you show me real quick?
No.
Come on.
No, I hate it
Yeah.
when people ask that. You can literally see me in movies being British or being American. It's like probably on YouTube. I'm like,
All right.
it's just
So if you guys want to
so.
hear it, go scroll down. I'll put some links in so you guys can click and
Yeah,
see.
I like do it on TikTok sometimes, but I get like I really like I don't know what it is. I probably should do it in interviews, but I like don't I'm like, no, I don't want to. I feel
No,
stupid.
I understand.
But it's like you can't be an actor. People ask me that all the time, and it's such a crazy question to me because there are very few auditions that I would go to where the character would be Australian. Like I pretty much never audition in my real voice
Gotcha.
for acting jobs. Like you have to be able to do an American accent. Otherwise you couldn't even like you couldn't be an auditioning actor in America. It just wouldn't be realistic for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Interesting answer. That's awesome. So if you could have a dream job, would it be just voice acting for video games? Would you rather do animation, or would you rather be in movies?
Oh goodness. I probably would say acting.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do that my whole life, but I would be really upset if I couldn't do voiceovers anymore.
Just kind
That
of
would
want to do
break
it all
my
then.
heart.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I want to be able to make my own content, and I want to continue like writing and stuff. Like that would be my dream if I could. It's super hard, to balance all of your creative endeavors and stuff. It's definitely a challenge, but like, to me, success and what it would mean in my life would be being a working voice actor, a working actor, like being able to do this podcast and keep making content on TikTok and stuff, and like really like just being able to do all of those things would make me really happy, and like making a living from that. Or honestly, any one of those things I would be okay with. It would be a bless. It's making a living out of doing something in entertainment or a creative pursuit. It really is like a blessing because it
Absolutely.
is so competitive and so
Absolutely. So you talk about doing it your whole life. What got you into acting? Like, what made you want to be an actress?
um I think I was just a theatrical little kid,
Okay.
and I was probably like a weird little kid. Like I think I've always probably like just been in my own little world in my head a lot, and I kind of became interested in people's behavior and why people were doing and saying the things that they were doing. And I don't know, I think it was just really like this sort of like, I don't think I knew it at the time, but probably like an interest in psychology and human behavior, and also like loving television and loving movies, and like in a way that was like just so intense. So, and that's how I feel about television now. I'm just so obsessed with it. And so I think it was just a love of storytelling, really.
Got you. So, guys, there's the people in Australia and all around the world. They want to act. It's awesome, and it's just awesome. Well, I gotta be honest. I am very like Sky is an awesome character. How did it feel to bring her to life?
Oh, I love Sky so much. She's so funny. And it was so easy. And like, because I just feel she's me,
Mm.
like, to be honest, I think that has become more clear to me over time because I think at first, I mean, she's not exactly me, but like, I feel that there's so much crossover between the two of each other, and you're gonna think I'm like actually insane, but I've always thought that I could like communicate with animals,
Okay.
and so
So this
like
is
I've always
natural.
I've
Absolutely.
always felt like I had a. I don't think I thought I could like communicate with them necessarily, but I'm like, I have a special connection with animals. Animals and I are the same. Like,
Rainbow.
so like that was, something that I really felt. And like, I really care about nature. Obviously, we're both Australian and we're from small towns. She's a little bit more rough around the edges than I am, but I'm definitely not like, she's really nice. And I think that's, I like, well, the way I saw Sky was that she was really nice. And Carolina Ravassa, who's the voice of Ray, said this to me. And like when she said it, it kind of clicked. She's like, oh, there's a sweetness to Sky. You gave her a sweetness. And like, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I didn't even intentionally do that, but that was how I saw her. Like I think Sky's a really nice person, but I also think she will kill you, and I think like that's in my mind that you are talking about an Australian woman. Like an Australian woman is nice and she is motherly and maternal and kind-hearted and like kind of working class in a way in her essence,
Yeah.
but you don't want to piss an Australian woman off because
Yeah.
they will not allow that to happen. And that's how I see myself. I'm pretty feisty, but I'm like, I hope, also very nice. So I think that was kind of how I saw Sky. And like, yeah, it was interesting at first because I mean, I think all the characters experienced this, but like I definitely encountered like a lot of negativity about the character in the beginning. I think a lot of people didn't know how to play her,
Mm-hmm.
and now she's picked so often for esports and pro players and stuff, and so it's different. There's more of an appreciation for her, but also a lot of people were very didn't like my voice, so that was definitely like an interesting experience. And there's this like weird internet rumor, to whatever degree, that I'm not actually Australian. And that would come up, it came up in a couple of articles that I saw when the game first came out. And then people will say it on my TikTok every so often. There'll be like a little flurry of people saying that I'm pretending to be Australian. And it's the weirdest rumor of all time. And it makes me laugh, but like, yeah, it's definitely like, it's funny. People are so crazy on the internet.
For the record, where are you from in Australia?
So I grew up in Canberra,
Okay.
which is the capital of Australia,
Mhm.
and then I moved to Sydney, and so my family is actually mostly in Sydney now.
Okay.
Actually,
Awesome.
yeah, it's like half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what else? So I gotta ask this the one big question: conventions, interviews.
Yeah.
You're open to all that?
Yes, I stopped doing a lot of interviews for a little while because I felt that I didn't want to, I felt maybe talked about Sky enough at that point, and
Mhm.
like I didn't want people to just like be like, I hate this girl. So
Gotcha.
tell her to shut up. So I took a little break from them, but like I'm happy to do them, like obviously with you guys, like professional kind of vibes, and people that are easy to communicate with. For sure, I'm happy to do them for. And conventions, like I haven't done one, as I said to you before we started recording.
Mhm.
Like I didn't know if there would be an interest for me to do it. I've had a couple reach out to me, and actually my friend of mine who moderates my Twitch
Okay.
works at some conventions and was going to connect us. But yeah, if you guys want me to come to a come to a convention or like whatever, just like let me know or get the convention to contact me, because I would love to. That would be so fun. I want to
Absolutely.
meet people.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, Miranda, thank you so much. This was awesome talking to you. Is
Yeah.
there, if you could say anything, I know we kind of touched on, you kind of gave a lot of encouraging words for up and coming voice actors, but if you could, I'm not going to ask for advice. I'm going to ask for
Oh, yeah,
encouragement
you can.
for
Oh,
people.
encouragement.
Yes, let's do that.
So I would just say, like, take the classes and put in the hard work and just really understand, like, I am not kidding. It could take you a year and a half if you were signed professionally to book even a small job. Like, it is the competition, and it's so hard to book. Like, it really, really is. So just don't feel discouraged if it's really something that you want. And I guess that goes to anything in life. And like, it is really competitive and really tough, but it's also really fun. So yeah, I believe in you guys, and I hope everyone feels empowered to, pursue the things that they want in life, because life is long and you want to do the things you like,
Yeah, absolutely.
you really want to. That's the
Absolutely.
whole point.
Exactly. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.